Good morning, y'all, and welcome back to the KingRNGLegacy channel. My name is Ryan, and it is good to be back. I've been working on stuff in the background, but I haven't actually posted anything in, I think it was early April. That was the last time. So it's been a while, and I appreciate everybody's patience. I appreciate all of you that have reached out and asked, when's the next one coming out? What are you working on? What are your thoughts about everything that I've been playing, mostly College Football 26? All that kind of stuff. I really appreciate it because it means that people actually care about, this kind of stuff. So I just wanted to post this video in a bit of a shorter form than usual in order to kind of, I guess, lay the groundwork for stuff going forward. I'm talking with my hands a lot more than I usually do right now. I think because I'm trying to fill the space. I don't know. I wanted to do this as like a little bit of a re-intro, kind of start off a bit on the, I guess, running foot, and I don't know what I'm saying out loud right now. Point is, I wanted to start off with something a little fresh, a little bit more low-key and unscripted. I do have some stuff written down, but it's not a script per se. First up, I do have a video that'll be coming out shortly after this one. That's my initial thoughts and reactions to College Football 26. I did a play now game with one of my team builder teams, and I just kind of experienced it for the first time. I did play a few more games in play now after that in order to kind of test out, and not really test, but experience some other teams. Kind of wish I'd recorded those too, but it didn't. And so you get the one where I did, but it does have some genuine reactions in it. I'm pretty excited about it. I don't know how good it is necessarily, but that's not why we're here, so it's okay. Following that, I've also got I'm going to be running kind of concurrently for the first little bit. I've got a BYU dynasty to not really pick up from where we left off with the 2 videos that I posted of the other BYU dynasty, but to kind of replace those because obviously it didn't actually get moving. So that's going to be one thing that's going on. And then I also started a Road to Glory in order to get my feet wet in that zone as well. My plan with Road to Glory is going forward, it's going to be kind of a story tool that might also leak into Dynasty. So my plan is to build a bunch of characters, and maybe not a bunch, but my plan is to build a character and then go into a Road to Glory with that character in mind, their characteristics, their backgrounds, their hopes, their dreams, their flaws, their weaknesses, whatever it may be, as kind of a narrative anchor so that I can tell a story using Road to Glory. Some of that's going to be scripted, predetermined is a better word in this case, I think. And some of it's going to be based on how the actual performance goes in the game. I haven't quite figured out the logistics on how I'm going to do that with Road to Glory, so that's something I'm going to need to tinker with. But this initial one that I've got is just a me play, I guess, experiencing the new concepts of Road to Glory for the first time. It'll be fun to experience, and then I might actually use that player as a building block for another dynasty that's a bit more sporadic, because the BYU dynasty is going to be BYU for as long as it goes. I don't know what that end zone is, but it's going to be BYU the whole time. Whereas this guy might start at his alma mater and then move to different positions based on what job offers I get. I don't plan on getting Madden 26 right now, but maybe in the future, and especially if y'all express interest in seeing me do that, I would also be interested in taking a player go from Road to Glory, import into 26, and then do a college coaching career as well. Possibly even an NFL coaching career, and follow that whole timeline. I think that would be pretty fun. Certainly long form for sure, right? That's going to take a bit in order to actually do all of that, but I think it'd be fun to follow along. I do also have a few story dynasties built. I have 3 players that I picked from dynasties that I had in College Football 25. And I've already kind of built a backstory for them so that I can jump straight into their coaching careers. But they're going to be very similar to what I'm going to do with Road to Glory. That's on this side. Very similar to what I do with Road to Glory, except it's going to be Dynasty. We're going to jump straight into Dynasty. Because the plan there is to also kind of focus on teams that aren't necessarily utilized very much. So one of those, for instance, is going to be an offensive coordinator at Rice. Again, I've got a script here, so don't look at that too deep. One of them is going to be an offensive coordinator at Rice. One of them is going to be starting at Eastern Michigan, and then another one's going to be starting at Colorado State. So kind of all over the board there, 3 group of 5 conferences, but none of them are going to be locked into those places. Again, it's going to be story driven, and they're going to, move when a better opportunity arises. And it's going to be kind of a better opportunity will be determined on the characteristics and factors that I've built into that person. So for instance, the offensive coordinator at Rice, he's from Texas. He played at UTEP. So he's going to be, and he has, kind of a Texas state pride. So he's going to be more inclined to getting jobs in the state of Texas than he will be outside. Now he might take one from let's say New Mexico or maybe Louisiana, Arkansas doesn't, because a state nearby, Oklahoma, maybe. There's a lack of geography knowledge right there from me. He might take a job that's nearby, but he's from Waco originally. So that's where his parents are. That's where his brother and sister are. He's got family there. Or at least he's got family in nearby areas, maybe some in Austin. Haven't fully built out the story, but I think you understand what I mean. He's got a predisposition to stay in or around Texas. So he's only going to take stuff in Texas. Now, the guy at Eastern Michigan might have a different story. The guy at Colorado State, he went to school at North Texas. He was in that North Texas dynasty I talked about earlier. And he's from Arkansas originally. So he's already bounced a little bit. He might be more inclined to bounce in order to climb the ladder and just kind of jump around, right? Maybe land a head coaching gig at a Power 5 school and then just kind of ride it for a while and then maybe be done. The other part of it is that I don't have a defined end point for a lot of these stories. The Road to Glories are easy because their college career ends, so that's where they end. The coach one's not so much. Could be a time amount, like 10 years, 12 years. It could be goals based. Not entirely sure. So if you have any ideas on what I could use as kind of an end cap for any of my dynasties, leave them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys because I could use help on everything. And if it's y'all doing it, it's going to make me feel better because it means you care. So as far as dynasties are concerned in general, that's kind of something that I would like to try to figure out is especially with the BYU dynasty, what's going to trigger, okay, this one's done. Maybe it's just you guys are tired of it. I don't know. But maybe it's I'm tired of it. I don't know. I could probably play a BYU dynasty until College Football 29 comes out. So if you have any thoughts on that, leave them below. I'd love to hear them. I've also got a Discord. If you'd like to join, I think I have links on my profile, my channel profile, and then I'll also link the Discord below. So if you want to jump on the Discord and add some thoughts, I've got a collaboration channel in the KingRNGLegacy channel part of the Discord. So you can post any thoughts that you have in there. On that note, I do have a Discord. If you'd like to join, you can. Again, it'll be linked below. But it'll also expose you to the fact that this channel is supposedly one branch of a series of channels. My plan is to have this one be kind of more sports focused. So it'll be College Football 26, Madden 25, 26, any kind of Maddens, MLB The Show, NHL, FC, NBA 2K. I was like, any other ones I can't think of right now. That being said, there's a lot there in that realm, and most of those, get regurgitated every year. So part of the struggle with that is that I'm probably not going to be fresh, up to date with the more recent releases for a good chunk of those titles, because frankly, a good chunk of those are the same game. So it doesn't really make sense to do it that way. But I am going to try to keep the ideas a little bit more engaging so that it's worthwhile to jump back into like NBA 2K22, right? I don't know that I'll start there, but that's kind of an example, right? On some of the other channels, I'm hoping to also focus on just kind of adventure style games, like typical AAA releases. That's going to be on the KingRNG Maverick channel. Again, that'll be in the Discord, and when I post those videos onto that channel, I'll probably also link them onto this channel in a post, so that if you are inclined to go watch those, you can. I also have a Facebook page, Instagram profile, and X account for KingRNG Productions, and everything that I post on the 3 channels will also be linked on all of those sources. Again, the socials will be linked down in the description of the video, so that if you want to go follow those, you can do so. The 3rd channel that I briefly mentioned is going to be focused more on, I was going to say what I call, but I think is generally considered a creature collector. So we're talking Pokemon, Digimon, Temtem, the Pokemon ripoffs, Pow World, maybe not Pow World, but stuff like that. And that's also going to be a bit long form and a bit probably content heavy, because there's a lot of stuff in that realm. But I have identified a few that I would like to play through in a series or in a long form or whatever. So I do have some ideas on that one, but that's going to be a bit more specific to those types of adventure RPG type games. Pretty much everything else is going to be on the Maverick channel. Oh, I didn't say that channel, the Creature Collector channel, is KingRNG Adventure. Again, both of those will be linked in the description. I don't have anything posted on those channels yet, so I don't think you can actually even go to the channel, or at least there's nothing to do once you get there. But my socials will be down there, so you can follow those, and you'll get updated on all 3 channels. Anytime I post anything, I'll also post a link and something else with the video post, so you can go follow those. I had a couple other things for KingRNG Legacy specifically that I wanted to talk about. I kind of got these out of order. I apologize. We're jumping back to Legacy for a bit, because I wanted to discuss a couple Dynasty Challenge ideas I've come up with to see what y'all think. So again, more interaction. If you're feeling it, let me know. One idea I've come up with is this thing I like to call a Conquest Dynasty. Originally, what it stemmed from is I wanted to do a recruiting challenge to where I had to earn the different states in order to be able to recruit from them. So the system I've come up with is, in every state that there's a school, you have to beat all of the teams in that state in order to be able to recruit without restriction from those states. But there's also a, I guess, tier specific. It's not really tiered. So it's kind of hard to describe. It's easier to like show you, and I haven't actually pre-prepared anything for this. So this video probably won't have anything, but I might release a video in the future explaining how that works. Again, if there's any interest, I might still do it anyway. And that might be the beginning of that actual Conquest series. So for like the state of Texas, where there's like 17 different teams, let's just go with Oklahoma. there are 3 teams in the state of Oklahoma. There's Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, and Tulsa. In order for me to be able to recruit 1 or 2-star recruits from Oklahoma, I have to beat one of those teams. If I beat 2 of those teams, I can recruit up to 4 stars. And then if I beat the last team, I might actually flip that. It might be 1 and 2, 3, and then 4 and 5, because I don't know how many recruits Oklahoma actually has in the 5-star range typically. So it might be more advantageous to get 4 locked behind that 3rd paywall. Point is, that's kind of the system. I have to win against opponents in that state in order to be able to recruit from that state. But the more I win in that state, the more recruiting I can do. So just winning one game doesn't give me the 5 stars. I have to win multiple games. There's a few different versions, and I think I'll get into that in a different video because it'll probably be easier to explain with diagrams and all that kind of stuff, maybe with an example. But I'm also probably going to have penalties for losing games. Might make it so that I have to win a game on the road against those teams in order to get access. That kind of stuff. So I would start with a team that's the only team in its state. Think like UConn, right? And UConn would immediately get access to Connecticut, but then they would also immediately get access to any state where there is no school already. So FBS school, obviously. So Montana, Alaska, the Dakotas, Rhode Island, Maine. There's not very many in those states up in New England area, but you get the idea. So any state that doesn't have a school, you can automatically recruit from, which makes those states with one school very prime real estate because you can immediately get that state when you beat them. Wisconsin is a great example of that. They're tough schools, so they're hard to beat. The thing about those one school states is that not a lot of them have good recruits. Hawaii might be the exception there. So Hawaii's probably a good target, but and Wisconsin's going to have a few, but like Idaho, maybe. Actually, Idaho's a bad example. Idaho might have some solid ones, but UConn is a good example, or Connecticut's a good example. Delaware is a good example. But anyway, that's the concept. And again, I can explain it more in detail, and it might just be easier to do a sample. In fact, I'm going to do that. So if you want to see it, let me know down below. Let me know if you want the Conquest Dynasty sample, and I can prioritize it. But otherwise, I'll get to it when I get to it, kind of thing. That's how it's going to be with a lot of these ideas. The other thing I wanted to bring up is I really enjoy the kind of simulation style rebuilds that I've seen in the past. If you know Param Crow, he used to do them a lot. He had like a 5-year rebuild where he rebuilt every single team in college football, or ESPN. What was it called? NCAA Football 14. And he rebuilt them over 5 years in order into a contender. I think for a majority of them. Some of them he may not have, but I didn't watch all of them, so I'm not sure on his track record. But he simulated all of them. He just did the recruiting, and he tried to rebuild using that. I want to kind of do that same thing. Not the same way. Like, it wouldn't be a 5-year rebuild, but I like the idea of a recruiting rebuild where I'm just focusing on the recruiting, and I have some kind of stipulation that I have to follow in order to get to an end result. So one, for instance, that I thought of is using the letters in the school's name. So Utah, for you Utah guys out there. So I can now only recruit players whose first or last name start with a U, T, A, or H. So that would be something. That would be an example. And I might actually do that one. So again, let me know if you want to see it. If any of these suggestions or ideas sound exciting to you, let me know in the comments below, because those are the ones I'm more likely to get to since they've actually got some traction on them. Another rebuild idea that's like simulation style is so I found a website called, I suppose I could show it to you, but I'm not set up to do so. I found a website that lists the career record. Career is not the right word. Cumulative historical record of every FBS school and what their win-loss ratio is. So my idea and my goal and my quest, I guess you could say, is to take any team below 500, below 50% win rate, and push them above the 50% win rate. So the bottom school is Florida International. They have I believe 35% win rate. So I would have to get them from 35% up to 50% using only recruiting. I wouldn't play any of the games. I could, slap it on varsity mode, just go to town and win, get there super easily. It would just take however long it takes to get there. But I would have to simulate, which means rebuilding is going to be a lot more important. Development's going to be a lot more important. I said rebuilding when I meant recruiting. And I think it'll be an interesting challenge and something that I don't necessarily have to focus on the gameplay style. I love doing both. I love the recruiting and I love I love playing the games. I think both of them are fun, but doing all of it together is sometimes a chore. So I like the idea that I can just do one of them and not have to worry about the other one. That's the last one I got on here for now. If you guys have any suggestions on challenges or backgrounds or any kind of thing I can add into College Football 26, let me know. That about wraps up, I think, the update for today. So I'm pretty excited. I guess the last order of business is the timeline going forward. So this is going to be coming out when it comes out. I'm recording this the night of the 12th. I'm hoping to post this morning of the 13th, maybe the 14th. And then I've got that first impressions video of College Football 26 that I'm going to post the day after. The day after that. And then I've got some content recorded for Road to Glory and the BYU Dynasty. And I'll start posting every other day, likely alternating between the Dynasty and Road to Glory for the first little bit, for those two while I'm still working on them. Hi, Zoe. And then when I get ready to sprinkle in that other stuff, that will kind of come in. But it's going to be, I'm not going to promise, unfortunately, a regular every other day schedule, but I am going to promise I'm going to be more consistent. And if I'm not, if there's a break, I'm going to try to be proactive about telling you about it so that you're not sitting around waiting. I know that you guys are busy. I really appreciate you clicking on these videos because I know you don't have to. I know a lot of you are excited because I know you personally and you talk to me about it. And I appreciate that. But I know that you don't have to. And I know it's not like a burden or a chore or anything to watch these. Most of you, I'm sure, put them on in the background. Who knows? But it means a lot. And I don't want to extend... What am I trying to say? I don't want to disrespect that appreciation, if that makes any sense. So going forward, I'm going to try to be a lot more communicative about what's going on so that you know where I'm at and you know kind of what's going forward. Upside, we should at least get through a BYU Dynasty this time. At the very least, I will get through that Road to Glory because I'm committed to that Road to Glory. And we may also get through the college coaching career of that guy too. So we're going to get through some more. We're going to get through some more stuff is kind of the point. I'm really excited to share it. And honestly, I just have fun with it. So I'm excited to, be a part of your lives and share that fun and excitement with you. With that one, I think I'm going to sign off for now. So thanks for joining me. As always, thank you all so much for watching the video. I really appreciate the support that I've been getting on this series and all of the other series I have across all of my channels. It's really nice to know that when I put something out there, it's going to be well received by people who love and appreciate it. So thank you for making me a part of your life, even if it's just through this content. If you want to follow me on social media to stay up to date on all of my posts and content uploads, I'm KingRNG Productions on Facebook and Instagram, and on Twitter it's KingRNG Prods because Productions didn't fit in the username for some reason. So I'm going to post on each of those right before I upload, or I guess rather when I schedule the upload. So that should be the day before it actually comes out. So if you want, you know, the first chance to jump on any future videos, that's going to be your source. I hope you all have a wonderful day after this, and don't forget, it's always a great day to do something amazing.